Alrighty, so you guys were charged with doing numbers 5 and 6. So we are, what did I do? Oh yeah. What did I do? I started number 5 for you. Okay. Excuse me. So number 5, we broke this into two shapes. We have this shape and this shape. And then we needed to figure out what this length was. And that way we could figure out what this what the dimensions were for this one, so we could figure out what the area is here. So let's do this one. This one is length times width, which is 20 times 42. So this one is okay. So 20 by 42. Man. 2 times 42 is 84. Plus the 0. All right, and then let's see this side here. We know 42 is the whole thing, but we have 20 of it down here, which is why we subtracted 20 from 42, which gave us 22. That means this section here is 22. So this is going to be 22 by 10. So whereas this one is 840, this is going to be 10 by 22, which is a 22 plus a 0. So this one is 220. So the whole thing, the total for this is these two combined. So 840 plus 220. So I'm just going to do that here. So the total is 1,060 square centimeters. All right. All right, this one we also started to do. So we did this, which was 10 and 2/3, which we converted to a decimal so that it was easier to work with. So to figure out just this here, we have 10 and 2/3 times 15. So that one I do not know off the top of my head. So we'll go ahead and get that one figured out. We'll use our calculator. And let's see what we have here. It's going to be 10 and 6/10 times 15, which is 159. Okay, that looks weird, but it's hard to write this way. Okay, and then this one is 10 and 6/10 times 3 and 2/10, half of that. So let's do that. 10 and 6/10 times 3 and 2/10 equals, divided by 2, equals 16 and 96 hundredths. Okay, so we have to add these all together. They never give us enough room, do they? Okay. So this is going to be 5. Okay. 175 and 96 hundredths. So let's do that over here. Total equals 175 and 96 hundredths square feet. Whew. All right. Oop. All right. Okay, we're going to do a few of these. There are 6 altogether. So we will do 3 of them and then see if you guys can do some on your own as well. I'll set them up for you. Okay, so they want us to find the side length of this one. So this is area, And they just gave us the area, but this is a square, so we know that these side lengths are going to be the same. So if our area is equal to length times width, then what we have is 51 and 84/100 is equal to something times something, and they're going to be the same. So we're going to divide this by 2. No. We have to find the square root of this, don't we? Something times, yeah, well, if it's the same, okay. If it is the same number times itself, then we have to find the square root of this because we need a number times itself that's going to give us this. So we're going to find the square root of this. So let's see what that is. Wow, fancy schmancy here. Okay, so square root of 51 and 84/100 equals 7 2/10. Look around for this. So that means that this would be 7 2/10 and this one would be 7 2/10. And when you multiply them together, that's what you get. All right. Okay. Here we need to find the height. So area is equal to 1/2 of the base times the height. So 49 and 5/10 is equal to 1/2 of 9 times something. So let's figure out what that is. What is 1/2 of 9? 1/2 of 9 is 4 and 5/10 times the height. So let us divide by 4 and 5/10 and divide by 4 and 5/10. That's going to give us our height. So let's do that. 49 and 5/10 divided by 4 and 5/10 gives us 11. So it's 11 centimeters. Okay. How many do we have here? 6. Diameter, height, length. Wow. Okay. We're going to do a few of these then, but not. I don't know if you'll be able to do some of them on your own or not. Okay. So we are finding the area. Area is equivalent to pi times the radius squared. So, and they're telling us to use 3.144 pi. Sometimes they will do that. So area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Okay, so our area they're giving us is 113 and 4/100 is equal to 3.14 times the radius squared. So we are going to divide both sides by pi. That's going to give us our radius squared, and then we're going to have to find the square root of that. So let's try 113 and 4/100. Divided by 3.14, which is 36. Ooh. Okay, so fairly easy because 36 is the radius squared. So what number times itself is 36? What is the square root of 36? And then we can figure out what the diameter is. So the square root of 36 is 6. Okay? 6 times 6 is 36. So our diameter is, remember, diameter is the whole thing across, and we've only found half of it. The radius is half. So the diameter is going to be our radius times 2, or 12. So 12 is going to be the diameter. Okay? It's kind of a lot of steps, huh? Find the height. Okay. So we know that area is equal to length times width, even when it is a parallelogram. Okay, so we have 62 and 875 thousandths is going to equal 5 3/100 times something. Okay, so we're going to divide this by 5 3/100, and we're going to divide this by 5 3/100, and that's going to give us our height, basically our other missing piece. So 62 and 875 thousandths divided by 5 3/100, and that's going to be 12 5/10. So that's our height. Okay. Okay, we're going to do 5 and 6. I want to see if you guys can figure it out. Find the length across the top. You know what? Oh yeah, I guess we can't. Okay, so we know we're going to have these two right here. All right, so what we're looking for is this. And we already know some of it's 8. So we're going to have to figure out what this is right here. All right, so we know that we can figure out what this is first. Length times width for this one. And this one will give us, once we figure this one out, we can subtract that from our total area. Then we'll know what's left over here, what area is left over here to solve for this part. Maybe you guys can do that. I don't know. It's going to be kind of a multiple steps there, but I think you can. Okay, whoa, this one. So I'm going to challenge you on number 5. Let's see if you can do that. This one is going to be a little bit different. We have to change these into decimals so that we can figure them out. So let's look at this first. 179 2/3. So 1/3 is 0.33. So 2/3 is 0.66. So this becomes 179 66/100. This down here, I can figure out what 1 divided by 6 is for my decimal. That would probably be the best way to go because all fractions are division problems. So 0.16, so 1600ths. Okay, so our area is going to be this. We're going to have 179 66/100 is going to be equivalent to 8 1600ths times the length. So we divide both sides by this. Then we can figure out what the height is. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it like that. You guys can figure that out. Alrighty.